Hello everyone, Vincent Teo from HDTV Test here. I'm in London at Mondrian Hotel attending the launch of the Polk command bar by this American company, Sound United, who have a range of brands under their belt. And I'm with Mr. Michael Greco, who is the global brand director at Polk Audio. So would you like to introduce the Polk brand to our audience, please?
Absolutely. So Polk's been around since 1972, and it was founded by three gentlemen from Johns Hopkins University. And their whole mission in life was, how do I bring the concert into the home? And back in those days, you had to have big speakers. They were very expensive, and they wanted something that everybody could enjoy the music of the time. So over the last 40 years, Polk is really focused on how do I bring that experience. And it's not just been music, but they've expanded it to the home theater. So whether it's a traditional 5.1 system, or it's an Atmos-based system, or it's a soundbar system. And so today we're talking about our latest soundbar, which is called the Polk Command Bar. And we're going to talk about what makes it really unique. But again, talking about Polk, maybe your audience doesn't know, but Polk's the #1 brand in North America. We also have been around for so long. We have over 10 million speakers in people's homes in the U.S. About 1 in 10 of the U.S. households actually have a Polk speaker. We also have a number of patents. So our engineering was originally founded in Baltimore, and we still have the engineering team in Baltimore developing new technologies, again, with the whole mission to basically give you the very best sound at a really affordable price.
Right. And can you run us through some feature of this Polk command bar then? Because our audience is very, how shall I put it, TV centric.
Right.
They follow my channel because they are interested in TV technology. But naturally, the modern day TV, they are fairly thin, and so the sound may be lacking, which is where your Polk command bar may come in. So if you can run us through the unique proposition of your Polk command soundbar to our audience, that'll be fantastic.
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. As TVs get thinner, it becomes more and more challenging to actually make great sounding products. I mean, one of the things about speakers is that it's still, at the end of the day, you're moving mass, you're moving air to make sound. So when you have something that's very thin, it makes it much more difficult. Obviously, the consumer wants a thin TV. I mean, that's why they're all going that way. So what we've done is really focused on building great sounding sound bars that'll fit under the TV or mount to the wall. So I'm going to talk about the command bar in kind of two parts. The first part is what makes it a good sound bar. And the second part will be what makes it special in terms of the Alexa voice services that are built in. Because that's really kind of the thing that makes this separate from all other sound bars, is the Alexa built in. So from a soundbar perspective, since you have a TV audience, first thing and foremost, it has to sound great. So we have a lot of technology that goes into the bar. It includes a wireless subwoofer. So again, you get that nice deep bass experience. It's very forgiving at where you place it. We also have designed the soundbar so that we know people don't sit directly in front of their TV. They sit off axis. So again, we want to make sure that whether it's dialogue or it's surround sound or it's bass or whatever it might be, you're getting a great experience whether you're sitting directly in front of it or off axis. The last thing that we do is we want to make it very easy for you to place the bar. So one of the things that's a problem is that TVs get thinner, but they also get closer to the tabletop. And so we actually spend a lot of time making sure that our bars are only 2 inches, around 50 millimeters tall. And that's done so it doesn't block the IR sensor on your TV and will fit in most places. And so that's one of the things that we did with the command bar. But in addition to sound, obviously, being able to get all your content from all the different sources. So this bar has 2 in HDMI and 1 out ARC. The HDMI support the latest 2.0A spec, so that means that they'll support 4K and HDR pass-through. In addition to that, we also have an optical input on the back. So if you have an older TV and you don't have HDMI, you can still connect this bar to your TV, and then you obviously can connect game consoles or whatever you might have for other sources to the back of the bar, maybe a Fire TV stick. The last thing that we've done is we actually have some technology in the bar to make it really easy for you to work with your other remotes. So we have a thing called Polk Smart Remote Technology. And what we've done is we've built in the IR codes for volume and mute for all your common TVs, Samsung, LG, Sony, Philips, Toshiba, and so forth. And what that means is that you can pick up your TV's remote or your cable box remote and use it to adjust the volume. And this is great for families and for people that just don't want to have to do IR learn, or they don't, my wife always is asking me, which remote do I use? And we wanted to get rid of that problem. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to actually make it easier for the consumer. Now, if you're using HDMI and CEC, it's not a problem. But if you're connecting maybe to a TV that doesn't have CEC, or perhaps you didn't even know you had to enable it. Now, a lot of the TV manufacturers, they don't enable CEC on the TV out of the box. We have this feature built in, to make it really easy for you. So now let's talk a little bit about the Alexa integration that we've built into the command bar. And this is much different than perhaps other things that you've seen on the marketplace. We spent 18 months working with Amazon to develop this product. And we've done a lot of things so that the consumer has a seamless experience. So whether they're watching movies, sports, TV, or listening to music, our product will behave the way it expects it to behave. So first and foremost, you'll notice that we have the Alexa Light Ring built in. We also have the same functionality you would expect on the Alexa Light Ring, such as volume up and down, mute, mic mute, and then also the action button. The action button is like saying the wake word Alexa. So instead of having to say it, you can just press it. We've also built that functionality into the remote control. And the reason we did that is this bar plays really loud. It can play over 100 decibels. So you don't want to be yelling at the bar. So you can use our remote and press the action button, and it will automatically lower the volume, and then you can issue your command in your normal voice. You can say, Alexa, pause, turn on the lights, whatever it is that you want it to do, you can easily do it now. You don't have to shout at the bar. In addition to working with the bar, it has all the smart home functionality that you expect from Alexa. Turn on the lights, set the thermostat to 20, lock the door. If you have these smart home devices and you've enabled the skill in the app, you'll be able to control all of those devices, and you have access to thousands of skills just like you would if you were using an Alexa Dot or Echo product. Last is that we've worked really closely with Amazon to make sure that some of the features that are not just for free, meaning that just because I implemented Alexa voice services, I still have to do more work as a developer. I'll give you an example. If you have multiple dots around your house and you issue a command, you say, Alexa, turn off the lights, or Alexa, what time is it? All those different dots might hear you, but you'll notice only one actually responds. That's actually, Amazon calls that device arbitration. That's something that the manufacturer, such as ourselves, such as Polk, has to actually implement inside the bar. So Polk spent a lot of time thinking about those type of activities to make sure, again, you would get the same type of performance from the command bar that you would get from an Echo Dot. In terms of the bar itself, I'll give you a little bit about the specs of the bar. The bar is, again, only 2 inches or 50 millimeters tall. It's a 2.1 bar, so it means it has a left and a right and a subwoofer. The left and right channel are the same. They both include a 1x3 midwoofer and a 1-inch tweeter. We've optimized these drivers so that they'll give you two things. One, you can listen off axis, so you don't have to be directly in front of the bar. Number two, it'll have a high dynamic range. And then last is the number one complaint people have is they can't hear the dialogue of the program they're watching. So we want to make sure that the dialogue is very, very clear. We also have a wireless subwoofer. The wireless subwoofer is a 6.5-inch down-firing ported subwoofer. So it's going to give you that deep bass response that you can't get from a bar-only solution. So the idea, again, is that we want to give you the great sound, whether it's music, movie, or sport, but we also don't want to make it too complicated. So we actually, on the remote control, include DSP modes for movie, music, and sport. So you don't have to know anything. You just press one button, and the bar is now optimized for that. So in movie, we're going to play a little bit lower. We're going to have more surround sound, so we're going to put more signal to the left and right surrounds. In music, it's going to be a very flat EQ. It's meant for 2-channel listening, so we don't want any coloration to what you're listening to. Sport is really good for sports and talk show. So it's one of those things, a lot of people that like to watch the news, or maybe there's a favorite lifestyle TV program, a cooking show, they want to hear what they're saying, and they don't want to have to turn up the volume. So they want something that allows them to have better dialogue. If you're watching football, you still want to hear the crowd, you still want to feel like you're there. So what we do is we compensate for all of that. So we give you these different sound modes to give you the very best experience.
Okay. For the UK market, what can we expect in terms of the availability and also the pricing for this Polk command bar then?
So in the UK market, our launch partners are Amazon, Richer Sounds, and Argos. You can expect it in your store or online in July, and the SRP is £349.
Right. What about for other parts of the world, for our global audience watching this then?
So our launch countries, because again, we can only launch in places where Alexa is available. Mm-hmm. So we're obviously the US, Canada, Germany, and Australia will be the initial partners, and then later this year we'll also add France.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your time, Michael. This is certainly a very interesting proposition to me because I get a lot of TVs in for review. And one of my main complaints is that the soundbars that I've actually seen these days, they always are too high and they cover part of the screen,
Right.
which is very annoying to me, especially someone who cares about picture quality, such as myself. But the 2-inch height of the soundbar with the strength of Polk audio on board and also the Alexa integration makes it a very attractive proposition to my mind. So thanks a lot for your time and I wish you a successful launch in the UK market.
Thank you.